Welcome to another edition of the Chicks on the Right podcast, where we talk to our friend and sponsor of the show, Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark Capital Management. And today we have a topic that we were not expecting, but we're reading now that the Texas Stock Exchange is going to be opening up in Dallas by 2026, that it has some major finance companies like BlackRock and Citadel behind it, and that this is happening. And we wanted to get your thoughts because we don't understand any of this.
I thought it was fake, Zach. I thought it was fake. And then I was like, no, this is real. This is really going to happen.
Yeah. And my first comment would be, God bless Texas. Yeah. So, it's funny watching this roll out because in my opinion, this is exactly what the founders had in mind when they set up the state of our union, meaning the fact that you have 50 individual. I know that we started with less than that, but the fact that you have 50 individual states, they're meant to be counterbalances for each other, right? Hold each other accountable, right? Yeah. So if one state starts doing something crazy, people leave and go to another state. And we've kind of seen that happening over the last several years, right?
California.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I think that this Trump trial thing, obviously this has been going on behind the scenes for a while. You don't just announce that you're going to launch a new exchange like that, based off of one news report or the Trump being convicted. But it is interesting to me when they announced this, right after the Trump conviction. And in my opinion, I don't think there's any other way to, and especially considering that Ken Griffin, the head of Citadel, is backing this. And in no way am I saying, is he a good actor? I don't think he's a very good human being. As a matter of fact, I've known people that have worked for him that think he's a complete monster. So, and not to say that he hasn't done some nice things for employees, but just he's not a very nice guy.
Yeah.
But he, I think, is much more on our side is what he views the government's purview to be, the role he thinks government should play. And I happen to be sympathetic to a lot of his views. But bottom line is, one of the reasons they want to do this is why so many fund managers have moved out of New York City. Right. I think one of the ramifications that they clearly didn't think about prior to this, what in my opinion is a complete sham trial against Trump. And I really wish that was something that we could have bipartisan support recognizing, because, I know a lot of people who I think are intellectually honest and have a lot of intellectual integrity that do not like Trump at all, that hate him, that have said this is a complete sham trial.
Yeah.
Right.
But one of the things those guys are saying is, hey, if you're going to do that, right, we're not going to subject ourselves to the state of New York whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So if we don't have offices in New York, and if our trades aren't being routed through New York stock exchanges, you can kiss our hind parts, man, because there's really nothing you can do about it, right? And I'm not really 100% sure on what the jurisdiction rules are. But my belief is that if you are a hedge fund, or if you are a fund or a financial institution routing trades through the New York Stock Exchange, I would think that would leave you somewhat subject to New York State rules, right? New York State government, New York State legal system. So just like these guys moving their businesses and their places of, where they live and their residences out of the state of New York, they're going to move their stock trades out of the state of New York too. Just like businesses are fleeing California, right? And if you think about it with New York, that is potentially a really big blow to a lot of sources of revenue.
Oh yeah.
But I'm encouraged by it, because it's finally, the state apparatus is finally kicking in and doing what it should do, which is, if you want to go nuts, and you want to go off the rails, and in my opinion, make a complete mockery of our Constitution, great. We're going to uphold it, right? And we're going to create a turnstile over here that's going to let all these other people that don't want to be subject to your tyrannical enforcement of laws and right, non-constitutional enforcement of laws, and we'll profit off of it. So
do you think it'll look like, because they're going to do it in Dallas, right? So do you think it'll look like, will it be modeled off of the New York Stock Exchange? Will it look like it? Everything will kind of look the same. What do you think?
Well, that's what's really interesting about it, because
like it'll look the same, except for everybody will be wearing cowboy hats.
Yeah, what I would think is that there'll be far less people working there. If you go to the exchange today it is so much different than it was. I've been on the floor of the exchange. It's just a bunch of series of computers, and pretty much the guys standing in there. Just it's almost they
like
do it.
waving pieces of paper like they did in Trading Places.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
places too. That's exactly what I think of, Mom.
Yeah, turn
Trading
those
Places.
machines back on. Right?
Yes.
We got to get the crop report from Mr. Beeks, right?
Yes.
Right.
Oh my God. Yes.
I've seen it a few times, right?
Just a few.
But yeah, no, I think it'll look similar, but I also think due to the people that are involved, I think it's probably right. There's a lot of tradition, if you will, or a lot of things built into the New York Stock Exchange that probably don't help on, execution, price, and speed. You know what I mean? There's every bureaucracy that's been around that long is going to have vestiges that aren't really useful anymore.
Yeah.
So my feeling is that it's probably going to be the fastest. It's probably going to be the best execution price. If these guys roll this out and looking at who's backing it, I have a really hard time believing that it's not going to be a step up.
I love that.
How does it impact like just regular schmoes like us? Or
I
does it?
I really don't think that it does, other than the fact that you'll be able to route your trades to a locale like Dallas, where I think the three of us on this I would much rather have the city of Dallas and what county is the city of Dallas in?
I should know this, and I don't, because I'm
It's not
south
Fulton
of that.
County, is it? No.
No.
Anyway,
I know. I don't know offhand.
But I know that if that becomes viable, and depending on how it's structured, assuming that I can route my trades through there instead of New York Stock Exchange, I'll do that every single time. Why? I don't want to contribute to that. I want to use the cudgel of free markets to knock some sense into these places. Because, like you think about I love New York. I love New York. I think California is one of the most spectacular.
It smells like urine, Zach. Come on.
But
despair.
Well, I haven't. Okay, to be fair, I haven't been there post COVID, right? I haven't been there.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. But the city, the idea of what New York is, I love it. I've always really enjoyed that city, and I think California is one of the most spectacular places on the face of the earth.
It's beautiful.
It's ridiculous, right? I mean, it's one of the most. It's insane. Yeah. And we go down to we haven't been down there before, but we used to go down to San Diego every year for spring break, and I remember looking around going, man, these people know how to mess up a beautiful place.
Right. They sure do, don't they?
Yeah. And so any ancillary pressure I can put on to save those places that I think are quintessential Americana, if you will, and kind of jewels of the crown, if you will, that have been just completely tarnished, right? God bless free markets, man. They're doing what they need to do. Corporations are fleeing the state of California. Stock exchanges are getting established outside of New York. Hail to the founders.
Amen to that. I love that.
Love it.
Yeah.
So we should be looking at this positively and watching with bated breath about all of the progress with it. And I know this is probably one of the things that people are going to ask you about in your seminars, because you do seminars, and I know you've got one coming up soon. Can you tell people how to sign up?
That was such a good transition.
She's
there.
Good. She's really good.
Pro. She's
Especially.
a pro.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for that. Yeah, we've got one coming up. I believe the 27th of this month, which is a Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, June 27th at 3:30 p.m., 5:30 for those of you in Texas.
Yeah.
Right. We will discuss this. But yeah, it's our normal virtual roadshow where we discuss our risk management processes and that we use with different clients, and we're really focusing on the risk of inflation because it's kind of prescient, right? How do we address that? What do we do? How do we account for that? And so we're going to walk you through how we do and how we account for it with our clients, and at the very least, it should be educational.
Awesome.
And you can sign up at
there we go. BulwarkCapitalManagement.com, KnowYourRiskRadio.com. You log on to those, dialog box pops up. It costs nothing. It's free, and we'll send you a link to the video day it comes out, or the seminar the day it comes out. And the more that join us, the merrier.
Love
Perfect.
it.
Thank you, Zach.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Thanks for having me.
Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Information presented is for educational purposes only. It should not be considered specific investment advice, does not take into consideration your specific situation, and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed, and past performance is no guarantee of future results. For specific tax advice on strategy, consult with a qualified tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein.